Hey, 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 I am back for episode 23 of my 30-day YouTube channel, the YouTube challenge. I'm actually back in the same spot where I recorded yesterday. Well, not the same spot. There are like cubicles. So I was at a cubicle all the way down to the other end, and there are three cubicles. So I'm now on the opposite end. Again, I have to be very quiet, very mindful, very demure, very cutesy. So I'm doing that again today, but I am thrilled to be back for this continued expansion that I am challenging myself to experience. So if you've not seen any of my videos, my name is Dixie Lincoln Nichols, and I am an educator. I'm a co-founder, among other things. So go back to episode 1 of this series and you'll learn some things about me if you're curious. But today I want to share with you my years of yeses. And what inspired this was, and who inspired this, I should say, is Shonda Rhimes. And so we all know Shonda Rhimes, extraordinaire, brilliant writer behind Scandal and a host of incredible, successful TV series, including Bridgerton and others. Anyway, so many years ago, when she wrote her first book, Year of Yes, a girlfriend gave me the book. She gifted me the book, and I read the book. And I have to say, that book came right on time. It was a time when I was transitioning, of course, again, after having embarked on a self-care sabbatical and unsure of where life would lead me, just leaning in, knowing God and the universe will catch me. I was experimenting with more learning, experimenting with ways of being, experimenting with vulnerability, experimenting with career, experimenting. And it gave me permission to say yes to a lot. So I'm not going to spoil the book for you. I think you should read it. All women should read it, especially Black women should read the book about her story. Yes, she's a successful writer. She has incredible, successful shows. And she also has a personal life. And she tapped into that and shared the struggles that she faced as someone who the world will consider overweight, and she herself considered herself overweight and wasn't pleased with her chubby parts, as she called it last night, when I went to see her. And she was also fearful of being in social settings, and she was socially awkward, but just avoided social settings because she went into paralyzing fear. And though she was this prolific writer and created these incredible television series, she didn't say yes to a lot. A lot of things that were asked of her, she said no to. And it was an encounter with her sister. Her sister said to her something like, "You say no to everything." Something like that. It's not verbatim. And she said she reflected on that and thought about it. And she was like, yeah, she's right. Why am I saying no to all these things that could be expansive, right? Similar to what I'm trying to do with my life, to be expansive. And she decided then and there to do something about it. And out of that came the book, The Year of Yes. And like I said, years ago, that's years ago, she wrote this book. And I was fortunate enough to be gifted the book, and I read the book. And after that, I decided that I was going to say yes to a lot. And I have said yes to a lot, which is why my life still continues to move on this trajectory and travel this path. And so there were so many nuggets and gems and precious bits of pieces to hold on to in the original book that it encouraged me to say a lot of yes to my life and to things in my life. I haven't said yes to everything that I wanted to say yes to because there is still a part of me that's holding on to safety and holding on to fear, really, because I think that that's what fear really stems from. We are afraid that we're not safe. So, because we desire safety so much, a lot of us are tethered to fear because we are afraid that if we unfetter ourselves, if we extract ourselves, that the safety blanket will be pulled out from underneath us. But I am a believer in showing up. I am a believer in commitment and consistency. And the first time I left, when I left, it made the next time leaving something that I didn't want and that wasn't desirable much easier. Yet there was still fear attached and scarcity, right? So, in terms of my spirituality, yes, I look at sometimes not wanting to detach myself from certain situations as scarcity. So, all of this is a part of leaning into abundance, and it's not something that you do immediately. Sometimes it's very slow. It's learning how to do that day by day, year after year after year, and getting better at it. And I've gotten better at it. And I continue to lean into abundance and move further away from scarcity and fear. But it comes in so many different ways. Like right now, there's so much going on in our country that so many are leaning into scarcity and as a result, fear and making fear-based decisions. And so it's the same thing with our own individual lives. When we think of doing something that's unfamiliar and we think of the consequences, and usually when we think of the consequences, we always think of things that are undesirable. Most times, when people want to do something that they're scared of, they think of the undesirable consequence. Because if people were thinking about the great consequences, they wouldn't feel as afraid. They won't be as afraid, right? So it's kind of like a mindset shift you have to make when you think about consequences. Yeah, of course, if you want to think about the unpleasant things, fine, but also remind yourself and think about the pleasant things, the extraordinary things, the positive outcomes, the aligned outcomes that can happen as a result of doing the thing that you're so scared of. So my year of yeses have led to a lot of experiences, a lot of growth, a lot of skills that I didn't have before. Case in point, saying yes to this challenge, right? Just saying yes and feeling the fear, but flowing through it anyway, knowing that when I come out on the other side of it, I'd feel so much stronger, so much more self-assured, so much more confident, so much more excited to continue down a path that I've always wanted to, but felt stuck because, but not just felt stuck, was stuck because of fear. And so I went last night, my girlfriend, the very same girlfriend that got me the book the first time, booked tickets. Like she just knows. She didn't even ask me. She booked the tickets and then called me. And I was like, of course. And she's like, okay, yeah, I booked tickets already for us. So we went over to the 92nd Street Y and there was Shonda Rhimes being interviewed by Robin Roberts. And we all got a book. And so this is the same book, The Year of Yes, except it's an updated version. It's a new edition featuring 7 new chapters. So I haven't dove into it yet because this happened last night, but I'm super excited to dive into it. And I tell you that this could not have come at a better time for me. The first book came right on time because, like I said, it gave me permission to say yes to a lot of things that were popping up in my life. And now I'm going to read this again, 7 new chapters, and I know it's going to give me permission to say a lot more yeses to things that I'm uncomfortable around. One of the things she had us do was she gave us a card. There was this card inside of when we went in, the ushers gave us a card, and on the card, we had to write what is something that we want to say yes to. And so I wrote my something that I want to say yes to, something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I'll share that with you later. But I wrote it on the piece of paper. And I have no doubt that by the time I'm finished reading this book, a lot of things that are percolating in my mind, I am going to say yes to. One thing that she also said was, it's important to say yes to things that we want to do. And remember to say yes to no's, right? That one was good. Don't forget to say yes to saying no. Yes, it's okay to say no. No is a complete sentence. There may be things that we don't want to do, that we feel forced to do, that people are gaslighting us into doing, that people are guilting us into doing, that we might be gaslighting ourselves and guilting ourselves into doing. But she reminded us that it's okay to say yes to saying no. So that was a biggie for me. Even though I'm pretty good with boundaries, we all fall back into old habits at times, and we have to continually remind ourselves, hey, this is not the direction that you want to go. Take a pause and reevaluate what you're doing here right now. So I'm truly looking forward to this book. And, I say this to say, you too should consider like the things that you want to say yes to, but fear is holding you back. Scarcity is holding you back. So many of the things I have said yes to have worked out. And the thing is, it's a journey. It may not work out when you think it should work out, right? Because we set timelines and deadlines for ourselves and our projects. And sometimes, to be honest, it may take longer than the timeline that we have set forth. It may take a little bit more patience and a longer time, right? But each individual gets to decide what their timeline is and what their limit is. So for some people, it's 5 years, 3 years, 2 years. And after that, they switch and pivot. They change direction or they change course or they reinvent their business or themselves, or they rethink the goal and there is a new iteration or what have you, right? There are changes sometimes. Sometimes people just totally get rid of whatever the goal is or whatever the thing is that they're doing. They end it altogether. There's no new iteration, there is no adjusting, there is no tweaking. It's done, it's over, and they move on. But for some people, it's let's adjust, let's rethink, let's have a new perspective, let's see how we can come at this from a different angle. And they move forward that way. Whichever way, it's entirely up to you and it's okay. But the great thing is, you tried the thing, you did the thing, and however the thing worked out, it worked out. You put your effort and your all into the thing, and you did the thing because you said yes to it. And I can guarantee you, no matter how it turns out, whether it worked out the way you envisioned or planned, or whether it didn't work out the way you envisioned or planned, I can guarantee you 100% that you learned lessons. There was wisdom to be had. And with wisdom, there is growth. So it's never all for nothing. It's never for anything. Even if you do it and it was like a flop and it failed, like what are the things you learned along the way that can help you in your life moving forward in another adventure, in another business that you might want to start, in another skill that you may want to acquire? Like, what is that? But all of those things come with saying yes. And so I said yes to a self-care sabbatical. I said yes to leaving my very safe well rewarded, financially rewarding career, retirement, and opted out for a self-care sabbatical because I felt I needed it, right? I came into awareness of what my body needed. I tuned into the sensations of my body. I came into awareness, I acknowledged, and I took action by leaving. And later on, fell into this book and the first edition, that is, and it helped me to say yes to a lot more. Yes to starting a business, yes to doing courses, yes to workshops, yes to making money in ways that I never thought in my life that I would be doing. And so I think this is an incredible book. She's still on tour. Go to her website and check out the tour dates. Maybe you can catch her. Her conversation and interview was extremely enlightening and so encouraging. And I tell you, the 180 that she's done based on who she was when she wrote that first edition of the book to who she is now is incredible. And it resonated with me because the version of me that left my job for a self-care sabbatical and the version of me now is 180. It's incredible. The growth is incredible. So, yes, I will continue to say yes to my life. I will continue to say yes to my dreams, yes to my hopes, yes to adventure, yes to unfamiliar things. If I have to learn it, which I have had to learn a lot, then I'll learn because that's how I have been able to amass skills through learning. And of course, acknowledging that you don't know something and asking people to teach you. And that's one of the things that she talked about. Oh my God. I tell you, I was sitting there thinking to myself, I resonate with every single thing that you're saying, Shonda, because I feel like I'm living that right now. Like the skills that I've acquired in the time that I left my my job is incredible. Like if you go to my website, dixielincolnnichols.com, I built that myself. If you go to lifeinthepause.com, I built that myself. And I did it because I was open to learning and I said yes to learning how to do things that I didn't know how to do. And knowing that these are skills that can serve me and support me, and they have in incredible ways. I've said yes to this challenge. Why am I saying yes to it? Because I know that I needed some work around being in open spaces and communicating using long form and not just relegating my work to content that's people scroll past and it's only 7 seconds, mainly because I have things to say and I cannot say them in 7 seconds. And so this is the perfect place for me to come to share some of that and to engage and be engaged by a new group of people. And all it takes is a yes. All it takes is a yes. So my years of yeses continue. And so, so excited for this book and so excited for the message and what I know the additional 7 chapters are going to bring to my life. We all need encouragement. We all need people who can inspire us because we're only human with human conditions and conditioning. And the way we work out of some of the conditioning that does not serve us is by opening up ourselves to deconditioning and relearning new ways of being that are aligned with the vision we have for ourselves and how we want to exist in this world. So, yes, what is your year of yeses? What are some of the things that you want to say yes to, but you might be scared? You might be afraid of not being safe. You are afraid of losing something that you are so dependent on. And don't get me wrong, being afraid to lose your livelihood and your salary and all of these things are valid reasons that people have not to do something. But what if there is a way? And so it's not about just, oh, I have a dream and I'm going to just leave everything and go pursue that dream. It's like, okay, how can I make that dream happen while I'm still maybe doing the work that I don't particularly like so that I can leave the work that I don't like and do the thing that I like, right? So maybe start doing some research around something that you love to do. Maybe start your YouTube channel and talking about the things that you are excited about, you're great at, you are skilled at, finding the audience that would resonate with your message or your product or your service and talking to them and speaking to them and captivating them, right? What is that thing? Think about it and share with me what the thing is that you want to do. So I'm going to share with you. I have many things that I want to say yes to this year. So one of the things is, and it's aligned with what I'm doing right here now on this channel, I want to create content that's relevant to well-aging. That's it, like well-aging lifestyle. So I decided that I don't want to be pigeonholed into only being an educator. Like I'm more than an educator. I'm an educator with my own sense of style. I love to travel. I love being in community. I love creating experiences. I love sports, some types of sports. There are so many things that I love. So, which is why my channel is going to be lifestyle, well-aging lifestyle, a channel for women who are getting older, who are growing older, who, even though they're growing older, they have a lot to offer. They have a lot of wisdom that they've attained over the years, and they have a lot of life left in them to share with other people. So think about it, think about it. And I will see you tomorrow for episode 24.